What's up, everyone? Tiffany is on a warpath, planting seeds left, right, and centre, potentially betraying some of her closest allies. Meanwhile, more and more targets are thrown around as we get closer to the eviction on Thursday night. We've got so much to talk about, guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Okay, so the day started off with a good old-fashioned pinky swear. It seems to be the true meaning of a deal in the Big Brother house. So Tiffany had got intel that both of the Dereks, both Derek X and Derek F, would take a shot at Christian should they win the head of household competition. Now, of course, if word got out, the comp beast, Christian would obviously probably take action or maybe get Alyssa to take action for him. You know, as Big Brother said the other night, his main squeeze would take action and she would do something for him. So obviously Tiffany's trying to keep that on the DL. So she told Hannah and said, pinky swear, you know, we're talking legit. This is the seal of approval in the Big Brother house. She got Hannah to pinky swear that she wouldn't say to anyone that both the Dereks are going to try and gun for Christian. We don't even know if there's any truth to that. Maybe they were just giving lip service to Tiffany. But I mean, I guess it would make sense. I mean, with Hannah being put up on the block, I guess Derek X would want to put Christian up, and Big D's always been worried about showmance, so I think it would make logical sense. But yeah, I think Tiffany's really just rallying the troops against them, but not just them. She's creating an army against so many different people, and she's spinning so many lies, and it's just turned into this web, and it's incredible to watch. We've got more to talk about on that, but as of now, that started off the day with her kind of rallying the troops against Christian. Tiffany has quickly realised that Kyland has every single person in the house in his pocket, which is true. I was talking about this probably last week or even the week before. After he had the head of household, he basically consolidated all the relationships he had already and took them basically to the next level. But not in the way that Alyssa and Christian are doing so. So they basically, Tiffany was talking to Hannah and saying, look, she's planting seeds left, right and centre. So obviously we saw yesterday Sarah Beth being mentioned as America's player, or I think she's a massive threat further down the line. Tiffany planted a brand new seed in there and said that Carland is Sarah Beth's sort of partner in America's Player, so it's like a two-man team of America's Player, and people will lap up anything. And Hannah, who is probably one of the most renowned about the game, she knows the most about the game in the house. I would put her up with Claire and Tiffany probably. She bought it. She kind of bought it, and if you can do that to the person who probably knows the most about the game, then that's when you know the seed that you're planting is unbelievably well. And listen, seeds about Kyland need to be planted, because if this was a normal season and there was just a Kyland on there, I would say that Kyland would storm to the end with this social game right now, and also he can win comps as well. So if I wasn't any the wiser, I mean, probably if you asked me a couple of days ago, I would have said Carlin is probably going to win the game if I had to pick an outright winner at that point. Tiffany is just making sure that like it's not just such a clear path to the end, and not even necessarily a path to the end. You know, it might be a path to eviction, because if she starts to plant these seeds, it's going to mix things up. But basically, the moral of the story, or I don't even know if you call it a moral of the story, but you know, she's realised that Kyland is a huge threat, and she's playing the game, and she's doing something about it. This is what we've waited for so long in a Big Brother game. We've waited so many seasons. You know, usually it's someone's a threat. Oh, we're going to have to get them out soon. Let's just sit back for the week and do nothing. No, Tiffany steps up. She steps up and she's actually making these moves, planting these seeds. She doesn't have to, but she is doing so to better her game, and also to give herself a fighting chance, and I guess really dethrone the person who is in the best position in the house. It's gameplay, and we love it. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, time for the veto ceremony now, and it should come as no surprise that Christian decided not to use the power of veto, leaving Hannah and Whitney on the block for the week. At this point, it is almost certain Whitney will be heading out the door on Thursday. There isn't really that much sway. The cookout would have to turn on Hannah for them to go, or for her to go. It just doesn't seem logical. She's got the number of Derek X plus the cookout. Something crazy would have to happen for Hannah to go. It would be a Big Brother blindside. We've seen stranger things happen, to be honest, in Big Brother history, so I guess expect the unexpected. But if I was a betting man and I had to put money on who's going on Thursday night, my money is definitely on Whitney right now. Xavier was quite upset at one point, and he was crying because he'd broken his brother's bracelet and he'd actually lost his brother earlier in the year. So that must be really tough for Xavier, and I'm just sending good vibes to him and just really hoping he's doing all right. That must be extremely tough, you know. Not only that, it's, you know, within the Big Brother house, which is tough mentally as it is. So yeah, just wishing nothing and hoping for the best and sending good vibes to Xavier right now. Alyssa and Christian were running through their hit list, saying that obviously they would like Whitney to go out of the house this week. They were really kind of just describing what's the best case scenario for them. It's going to get them further in the game by taking these people out one by one. I will say this to Alyssa as well. I've just thought this on the spot right now. If Alyssa gets to the final two with Christian, there's no way she is going to win against him. And that's not my opinion. That's the history of Big Brother. People are more impressed, I would say, by a strong physical game than I'm not even going to say a strong social game, a mediocre social game. Because obviously Christian's got no social game whatsoever, whereas Alyssa is probably going to win a couple of comps along the way if she survives long enough. But her social game is good enough to keep her and Christian afloat. But I would imagine Christian will take the hit before she does. But again, it's nothing impressive. Like, we're looking at Tiffany's game and we're going, whoa. And then we're looking at Alyssa's social game and we're going, So if they get to the F2, Alyssa knows that she's signing she needs to know that she's signing the check over to Christian for $750,000. Be cutthroat, get rid of him. And I guess, really, it would make sense for Christian to take Alyssa to the end. I would say be cutthroat with her, but I mean, I think he'd probably consolidate the money if he took her to the end. But anyway, they were talking about their hit list, saying that they need Whitney to go this week, if I can remember this off the top of my head, followed by, I believe it was Arza going next week, then Hannah, then Brittany, and then Derek X. So they've thought quite a few weeks ahead there. And obviously it takes a lot in Big Brother to get the ideal boot order. Maybe you'll get your luck. I mean, it's lucky to get the person that you want out in 1 week, let alone 4 or 5 weeks on the trot. So I'll be impressed if they can do it. But like I just said before, if I was a betting man, I would say it's probably not going to happen. But you never know. Expect the unexpected. Derek X, Hannah, Tiffany and Claire seem to be getting very, very close over these past couple of days, bonding over the wrath of Sarah Beth. That is a group that I think is phenomenal. If they work together and they genuinely put their minds to the goal of getting to the Final Four, I genuinely, truly believe they can pull it off. That, in my opinion, could be one of the strongest ever groups of 4 in the history of Big Brother, and that's saying something because there's been a hell of a lot of strong players over the years, and for the track record of recent seasons of Big Brother, I would have guessed I would never say something like that. So Claire, Tiffany, Hannah and Derek X, if they can band together, their potential is just sky high, and they could go down in the books, and there'll be people that house guest will be talking about in 10 years time as the group that made the F4. They are realising Sarah Beth is a threat. It's nothing personal against her. I think Sarah Beth's fantastic. I really like her. I've vocalised that over many, many videos. But she is a threat. She is very much a threat. And Hannah has obviously realised that her name's been thrown out by her. So guess what? Hannah needs to do the only thing that's logical and try and get her out. Tiffany's realising that she's also a power player in regards to playing socially and strategically. Tiffany is probably thinking there ain't enough room for 2 of those people, so she's probably trying to get rid of Sarah Beth. It makes total sense. Derek X is the veto man. He can win some vetoes. Claire is playing an incredible social game. Hannah knows the game like the back of her hand, and Tiffany, well, we know Tiffany, she's strategizing extremely well. And to be honest, I mean, Claire's won comps as well. She's got the physical side of things as well. And to be honest, Claire can strategize as well. She strategized with the best of them. I've seen her strategize with Sarah Beth, for goodness sake, and Hannah, and even Claire, not even Claire, and even Tiffany. So it makes total sense that this group can be a powerhouse if they stick together. They can do that. But anyway, they're talking about Sarah Beth. Tiffany's really planting these seeds left, right, and centre, just throwing Sarah Beth under the bus. And we can't give a hate for it, guys. She's playing the game, and for that, I take my hat off to her, the hat that I don't even have on. Alyssa and Claire were talking about the threat of Sarah Beth, and it was kind of Claire planting that seed again, very intricately, carefully doing it, because obviously Sarah Beth is on the team of kings with Alyssa, so she has to be very careful there. But Alyssa was rolling with it. She was kind of saying, sometimes we'll have kings meetings, and inadvertently, Sarah Beth won't be there, and they haven't done that purposely. I don't really know how that makes sense. It's kind of... She obviously wouldn't be there. If they're having a King's meeting, then they'd invite her up. So it's obviously done purposely. So, yeah, I think Alyssa was kind of going with that. And Claire obviously just planting that seed again and just showing she's very, very good socially and strategically. Cookout sort of talk continued with Tiffany. She consolidated she's always working, Tiffany. She consolidated a final 3 or like a call within the cookout of Xavier and Hannah, saying that Xavier would basically be the person who'd win the comps, and they'd do all the brain work. It wasn't obviously said like that because that would make Xavier sound a little bit slow, but he's because obviously Xavier has shown he's been quite strong socially as well. But Xavier is also in a call with Derek F, with Big D and Kyland already, so he's in a fantastic position, and he's another person I can really see going far and potentially going at the end. People are going to want to take shots. Well, Big D and Kyland will probably want to take shots at Hannah and Tiffany and Hannah will want to take shots at Big D and Kyland. Meanwhile, Xavier's sat there, probably as not needing to win head of household when it gets down to the wire, and probably be in the swing vote. So that will obviously get blood in his hands towards the end if this does follow through. But this is Big Brother. So, I mean, this is good, seeing all these different interpersonal relationships. I feel like recent years it's kind of just been like, this is one side of the house, this is that side of the house, and this side of the house is going to pick everybody on this side of the house off one by one. Now it's kind of just like everyone's all over the place, and there's this big web that's sort of getting intertwined, and it is brilliant. It's so good to see. This is Big Brother. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts on this week in the comment section below. How are you feeling about Whitney probably being the target this week? Do you think Christian's been a good head of household, or has it technically been Alyssa's? There's so much to talk about, folks. Let me know in the comment section below. But thank you again all for watching. I appreciate your support so much. I just love reading your comments and just the fact that you all tune in whenever, if you watch one video, 2 videos, 3, or all of them, guys. I appreciate every single last one of you. It means a hell of a lot to me. But folks, I'll say as I always do, make sure you're staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. Be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.